Hi, I'm Sarah Noble, your host for the Modern Day Intuitive Podcast. For over 25 years, I've been on a spiritual journey, searching, learning, expanding, and growing. I've traveled the world, led by my heart, on a quest to know myself so that I can support others. This podcast was created from my deep desire to help you connect with your intuition and to inspire you to create a life where the impossible becomes possible and you live into your sacred dreams and desires. Thanks for being here and enjoy the show. Hello, my loves. Happy New Year. I always love this time of year. It feels so potent and magical and fresh beginnings, new starts, possibilities, opportunities, all the things that I love. And inside of all these possibilities, I wanted to remind you of my new self-paced 12-week journey mentorship that's available. You can find a link in the show notes if you'd love to work together and take things a little deeper. It's being offered through Alchemy, a school for the soul, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Today for our reading, Lynn is showing up, questioning the creativity that's available for her in her business. She loves her work and is making a big impact, and yet is starting to feel as if she's not aligned and if she's paddling upstream. So she is curious as to what is actually happening. And so this reading takes us on a journey where we explore the importance of slowing down and resting, living from the mind versus the heart, creating a business from a place of rest and ease, how your childhood conditioning and programming shows up running your adult life, how your reality is a reflection of what you believe. By freeing up energy from your shoulds, you can use it towards your creativity. Possibilities and opportunities come from the unknown, and trusting that you are always supported. So lots of really great, juicy topic and conversation for you today. So enjoy my call with Lynn. Namaste. Hi, Lynn. Welcome to the podcast. How can I help you today?
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. I'd love to look at what feels like an uphill battle recently in my creative work and my business. I've created so much and achieved and accomplished more than I ever thought I would. But lately it's felt like it's hard. It kind of feels a little stale. It feels like I'm moving against the current in a way, and I'm not really sure what that's about.
Well, congratulations on creating such beautifulness for your life.
Thank you.
Yeah. And where I feel in my body as you're talking is in my third chakra. There's a clenching, and there's this image of you needing to rest. Mm. So, and also, right, our third chakra is how we bring our gifts into the world. Our second chakra is connecting in with that divine creative energy and then bringing it up into the third chakra and executing it into the world. So when I give you that as a starting landing place, what comes up for you?
That resonates. I mean, rest is not something I do often. So that would make some sense. And that feels kind of right. Again, it's a little, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, it just is a little foreign to me. Maybe that's just the thing. I'm typically really motivated, really high energy, really energized. And I for sure, have had little dips in that here and there, but I don't rest a whole lot. And I definitely haven't rested from this business much. So that makes sense.
Yeah. How long have you had the business?
It's evolved a lot, but since 2007.
So am I hearing you correctly that you haven't rested since 2007?
I mean, of course I have, but it has felt like my whole mental space is very, very much in this business since then. It feels like another child I've raised for that long. It's consuming for sure.
Yeah. You were saying how you felt like you were paddling upstream. I'm not sure if you said that in the call or before when we were talking, but there's this sense of you're just so tired. And everything, like things before that felt easy, it's taking more of your energy to do those things because the tanks are depleted. Like you've even used a lot of your reserves. So you're kind of running on empty. And there's also the sensation that even though you're putting gas in the tank, it's not reaching the places in you that it needs to, because those places, they've kind of gone on strike. I know that sounds kind of funny, like spirit has a sense of humor. Parts of you are just on strike. They're like, no more. We just need a little bit of a break. So imagine there's different thoughts and feelings going on for you. So tell me what's coming up, what's happening.
Yeah, I guess, of course, my mind is just trying to figure out what that looks like, because it doesn't, I mean, it never feels like it never feels like time for a break. Literally, practically, just take a week or two away. Is that going to help? Is it more of like kind of, and I'm not looking for exact answers to this, but this is where my mind is going. Or is it just kind of like shifting how I see things? Because that's definitely something that keeps coming back to me, that I want to be even more of a leader than I am, but with less hustle and less time and less work. And so I'm definitely looking for ways to take things off my plate, but not step away and not create or produce less. I don't really want to do that, but I need to find a way that is more sustainable for me.
Yeah, it's like a recalibrating of the beliefs that sort of push you to choose sort of situations that you maybe don't need to. There's like this sense of holding everything together. Like if I let go, things are going to start falling through the cracks. If I'm not the one showing up for this, then something's going to happen. Like a driving force. And it's not really control necessarily, but it's like I see you just holding on to everything, feeling that if you let go of something, it's all going to come crashing down.
Yes, 100%. And I feel that all the time in all of life, and in the last year, I've partnered with some people in my business. And so I have actually, at least in practical logistical terms, I have stepped back from some things and said, okay, you guys run with those. And I don't think it's that they're doing a bad job, but I think there's a lot of circumstances that have come together that my mind wants to say, see, you can't step away because things haven't gone that great in the last year. And again, I'm not saying that's my partner's fault. There's just a lot of things that have contributed to that. But yeah, that's for sure where my mind goes, is this is all on me. And again, this is kind of just a theme and my mind's favorite story in life, not just in the business, but I have to hold it. If I don't do it, no one will. So yeah.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about that is that's just your conditioning. That's not really the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the stories. That's what you grew up learning. That's what life has shown you. And it's shown you that because you believe it, right? Our reality reflects what we believe.
Yeah.
So if you have a deep-seated belief that if you step away, things are going to come crashing down, then you're going to create that as you step away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the world will rearrange itself to fit your beliefs. So what we're talking about here is not necessarily like, yeah, a 2-week vacation, that would be amazing for you. And that's not going to sort of shift what's happening. That's just going to put a Band-Aid on.
Yeah.
There's belief work. There's that part of you that probably grew up believing something very similar about your life.
Yeah.
So that sweet, sweet, tender part of you is just protecting you, helping you, really just loving you. And yet it's misinformed.
So do you think this is behind kind of feeling less creative and having, just because you said this is really kind of what's sapping the energy.
Yeah. So in my experience, right, our creativity is a divine connection. It's our soul expanding in our body. It's our connection to source coming through us out into the world. And that comes through our heart, doing the things we love, being in the spaces that we love, with the people that we love, feeling joy, feeling excitement. And what you've created is more of this, oh gosh, I have all these responsibilities. Yes, I do love this work, but there's all these things and there's this pressure. And if I let go, then it's and that's what you're running, as opposed to this like stream of energy, of creativity that doesn't take all that extra energy that is being used to kind of keep the house of cards from falling down.
Yeah. That really resonates. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's, finding, really targeting in on what are the creative things that you love, and then delegating a lot of what you do not love, and like really having a high standard for that for yourself. Because I know it's very easy to be like, oh, it's fine, I'll just do that thing.
Yeah.
But it's like having a really high standard for yourself of like, okay, this is what I love. This is what doesn't even feel like work, because I'm plugged into this creative life force energy flowing through me. And then trusting that you know how to hire the right people to do the other things. And then working on the beliefs that tell you that you're going to have to do it because it's going to get all messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And I can see how it's just going to be maybe like a process of moving toward that, getting feedback when I'm not doing that, just seeing the beliefs that come up along the way, kind of just working my way through it a little bit. I
guess. So yes, it can be a process, and the speed at which you move through that process will be related to how ready and willing you are to look at those things and to do something different. Because you can make this really long and hard, or you can make this really easy. But that's your choice.
How do I make it easy? I choose that one.
Diving deep, really looking at your conditioning. I don't know if you work with anybody, a coach or a therapist, or somebody that supports you on your personal growth journey, but really going deep, like being ready and willing to show up for you, putting yourself first, is starting that journey of believing that you are loved and supported.
Yeah.
And that everything will be okay. You are not solely responsible for keeping it all together, that there are bigger forces at work, loving you, supporting you. And your job is to really be with you.
Yeah, I love that. And I know it's true. And then just as you say that, I'm just seeing how that shows up sometimes. That's how I've operated at times, but it's definitely not the norm at all for me. So that makes sense. I mean, in a way that feels really good to see. Oh, wow. What if I really do that? Like, what if that really shifted what would be possible, and how would it feel from there? I can feel how different that could be.
Yeah, because you are now stepping into the territory of possibility and the unknown. And that's the place where miracles happen. Whereas when we create our future based on what we know and the past, we don't leave any space for anything magical to happen. We just create what we already have.
Yeah.
And you have an incredible mind, like a beautiful, like just luxurious is the word that comes mind. And it's working overtime.
Yeah.
It needs to give a little bit of that responsibility back to the heart, because the heart is the creative channel. The mind is the faithful part of us that helps us act out our dreams, our desires, our creative process. But so often we've given all the power to the mind and it's the master. And therefore, the heart is sort of left in the shadows, not being fulfilled. And then life starts to feel the way that it's feeling for you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you making with this?
I really feel like everything you're saying, I deeply knew, but it's so helpful to just be pointed back to this again and to really kind of take it to heart in a new way, not just let it be in my mind. And yeah, that shift from heart, from living more from heart than from my head, I feel like that's huge. That would be really huge.
Yeah, because your heart, your creativity, the reason that you started this business in the first place, I'm imagining, came from a dream, came from a purpose, a sole purpose of what you wanted to do. And then it just, it's gotten boxed in by your conditioning and by your stories and by the things that your not self, right? Like not heart pieces are trying to keep everything in order. And it's not allowing for the heart to really stay in that purpose. And it's the one that started this journey for you. And yet now it's been taken out of its driver's seat.
Yeah.
So what are a couple tangible things you can do to bring this into your world today?
I think really living into that space of, I forget exactly how you said it, but just seeing that there's so much support here for me from all over the place. Like I don't need to do everything. And in fact, when I'm doing things that don't feel good, that's not helping me. It's not helping the business. So somehow just looking towards seeing more and more that old way is just the conditioning, and that what if this is really true? What if the best thing I can do for myself and for the business and for everything is to just, like you said, prioritize how I feel, and when the things I'm doing, get super particular about that. That feels like a really good kind of thing to start to experiment and to have on my radar going forward.
Yeah, it's like it shifts it out of from have to get to. Like these are the things you get to do each day and show up for because they light you up and they're joyful, and there's so much energy, right, that gets released in that space when you give up the things that are not fun and then channel that energy into the things that are fun. All of a sudden, there's like so much potential for new ideas, new revenue streams, more people to serve. Like all of that opens up instead of that energy being used to do these tasks that just feel not aligned.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's felt like there's a lot of stuff to do. So I know I can get really busy and kind of just distracted and doing all the stuff. But that's what I hear you saying, is that it just keeps me kind of in the rut of just doing a bunch of stuff, and there's not space for the new ideas to come through so much. So I think for me, that's going to be a big thing of trusting. Like, I don't think everything is going to fall apart if I stop doing so much. But even if some things do, even if something falls by the wayside, that's not a horrible thing. Like maybe this is pushing me to kind of let go in a way that is ultimately really helpful.
Yeah, it's stepping out of sort of that old paradigm, or I don't know, old, like it's not old, it's currently running, but it's been around a while of doing more is better. And being in sort of that hard work, everything is hard work. Whereas there's this other way of looking at things like, well, how can I create with joy and ease? How can I really be in the flow place of what I love? Like, does it really have to be hard? Who said that? Who made up that story?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. I know that's not true, but I feel that it feels true. And I know that it runs in the background, and it just, it runs me into doing so much and feeling like things are hard and like I have to work for it and I've earned it and all of that garbage. So I think that's really big.
Yeah. And so having a practice, right? When that part of you, that voice wants to come up and tell you those things, that you like just grab it and love it and be like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry you believe that silly old story. Didn't you get the memo? We actually have this other story we're doing now.
Yeah.
Like having fun with it, but it actually rewires your brain. There's like scientific kind of evidence behind that. I really like to have fun with those places.
Yeah.
So that you're coming back to this place more and more and noticing when you're getting caught in the programs and the stories.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love just choosing the different story and then just being really playful with the old one when it comes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because all parts are valuable. All stories have something to offer. And I've found that there's a much more easeful and faster, probably is the okay word to use there, process, where we started, right, with the process, when you love those parts instead of wishing them away.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're probably not going to go away. We've been telling them for years, decades to go away, and they haven't yet. So it's like, why are they going to listen this 10,000th time? Let's try something different. Come over here, and having that, not making any part of us wrong.
Yeah.
Those parts are so valuable because they give insight into what we're doing or not doing or why we do it or how it's showing up. So there's so much we can learn from those places that we want to usually hide from or wish away.
Yeah.
They might even hold your new best idea.
Yeah, I love that.
Where would you like to go from here?
I don't know. This feels good. Everything really resonates, and it just feels like it points me in a totally different direction. So it feels really helpful.
Nice. What medicine are you making and taking away from our conversation?
I think to just keep noticing the conditioning, but I love just the idea of just playing with it. And really what you said about kind of stepping into this new place of possibility that isn't where my heart is what started this business and allowed it to be really successful and still does at times, but that the heart's kind of out of the picture. So I think just bringing the heart back into it, bringing the humor and the lightness back into it.
Beautiful. Yeah. Does this feel like an okay place to land today?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today and making your personal and spiritual growth a priority in your life. To learn more about connecting with your dreams and your intuition so that you can create a life full of possibilities, visit me at www.sarahnoble.com and see how we can create magic together. A big thank you from my heart to yours for making the planet a better place for us all.